today. I think we missed a month last month for our podcast. And I'm Tom Kemp, founder and president of SNIP Collier. And today we're having this out in Immokalee this is our new clinic out here. This is our surgery / prep room. We have all our new blood work stuff over here. So we're pretty excited about having it here. Bill McDaniel is with us today. He's been on the commission for many years. I think this is your last term.
9. I've been on 9 years. I got 3 more to go.
And this is it. This will be your last term. Hey, who knows? Maybe he'll endorse me to run for his seat. You never can tell.
Probably not.
You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that to the other commissioners. You have more respect for them than that. But anyway, we asked Bill to come out and join us today, and we're going to have a good discussion on some of the issues with animals in the county, some of the divisions, just different things. This isn't a gotcha day-to-day. It's just informative. We'll ask questions that we hope we can get answers for, but Bill, we appreciate you coming on. And we're going to try and build this podcast up to be really an important thing over the next year. Anyway, so Bill, you want to tell a little bit about your being on the board and some of the, Bill was instrumental in helping us get this land out here at a very discounted rate. We have put, we're putting all the money into it, but we do appreciate it.
What's that little puppy's name?
Oh, that's Molly. Oh, what you hear is Molly, and she's a pregnant pit we just got today. Since you brought it up, I wasn't there, but I got a call from someone that the owners had taken her to DS. She's very pregnant, not ready to have puppies. And for whatever reason, I'll let them deal with that they wouldn't take her, or they didn't take her. So we got a call, and instead of letting her have puppies out here, we got the people to surrender to us, and she's going to be in a foster tonight and on until she has the puppies. They'll be all spay and neutered. She'll get spay and neutered, and we'll get them all homes. So that's, again, what we do.
That's what SNIP does.
And you got it. So Bill, can we go to a conversation we had a long time ago? And the only reason I bring this up, is Farm Workers Village.
Because Thomas and I have been friends for 100 years, so just so you know, I have a lot more gray than he does. But
I'm old.
How old are you now?
75.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got you by a few years.
10. I turned 65 next month.
Yeah. The next 10, Bill, will be quicker than the last 10. And count on that one.
I can tell you the last 10 have.
But
anyway.
So Farm Workers Village, we talked about a year ago about it, and it is a community that I think I'm right, the county operates.
No.
And okay, who does operate it?
It is operated by a state agency known as the Collier County Housing Authority. So the misconception is that it's a county operation. It's not. I was chair. I used to be, before I became a commissioner, I was chair of the Collier County Housing Authority for 7 years.
So then who holds them responsible for upholding their HOAs or whatever they are their rules of living there?
They have an appointed board. I think there are 5 of them on that board now, and they're all appointed by the governor and the state of Florida. I don't know what agency within the state of Florida they have to report to.
So then who holds them responsible for them? Because here's the deal. It is you're not allowed to have pets, period.
Correct.
And years ago, not anymore, I don't know what code's doing, but I know that I used to find moms and puppies in there in houses, and I'd turn them in, and the county, when it was under domestic animal service, would literally issue them breeding permits. And I'm going like, wait a minute, they're not even supposed to have them.
Right.
And I was over there the other day, and it certainly isn't as bad as what it was, but there was a group of puppies in front of one of the apartments, and then I went to this house to get this cat, and there was a dog out front, and I said, is this yours? And he goes, No, mine's in heat, and that's why he's hanging out here all the time.
Mhm.
So that was just 2 places, and so I just when we talked a long time ago, we had discussed, it wasn't anything in writing, obviously, or anything, that once we get this open, there's a chance that we could go to that board
Yes.
and get them to change that rule and say, look, you're allowed to have 2 pets. I'm just using some numbers.
Sure.
They have to be spay and neutered, they have to have all their shots, they have to be walked on leashes,
Registered and all that.
and the whole 9 yards. And if they don't do it,
Right.
they are a victim. It's like, we're listening to the federal government, state, all these things have no mechanism for enforcement. And that's the problem.
Right.
So how do we change that over there? Because it's a big community.
Well, once you get here, and you know we're real close. You're real close to being open up here and having a full bore clinic. Once we get you here and you're in, then we'll go. I'll make arrangements. I'm friends with 2 of the appointed board members, and we'll make arrangements and get you in over there and start to work with them to educate. Because you and I have talked about this a lot over the years. Education is 9/10 of the law with a pet owner. So many times people think it's fun to get a pet and then they don't spay and neuter like they should. And then next thing you know, you got a lot of puppies and things start to go downhill after that. So, but soon as you get wide open and situated, so because we still have some things we got to do here to get you proper access.
Yeah, and that's, I understand they were talking, I brought that up a few times to quite a few people in the government. And I actually am working with Peninsula Engineering to get, to see what it's gonna take to pull the water and everything, all the utilities up here, because it has to happen before we build the next building.
Right.
And so I'm thinking actually about maybe doing it now. And, well, at that same time, maybe the county could move the gate, I do the road, because I talked to Peninsula, and it's just hard to find sometimes.
Right.
And if we move the gate, I put the sign up, and I go ahead and pull all that up, it's expensive, but I could go ahead and do it now before we start the building over here.
Sure.
And that way, it's paved, it's easy to see, you got signs going up, driving around, because half the time they drive around over here 3 times before they find it.
Right.
And also, when we do feral cats and really a lot of work in here, we're gonna have a lot of cars coming in, and I just don't
We
believe
need to
that.
have unfettered access, there's no argument. The gate system that was there worked adequate for when this was utilized as a DAS facility. And again, there's asset protection for the county for where the gate is now, but you're separate from the county. You're on county land, but you're separate from the county, so.
No, that's something that'd be a huge help, and I think, we're gonna pay for it. Now, the gate, maybe the county can pay for that, but the road, no, they will, I'm sure they'll pay for it, how about that?
We'll see.
The response. And, but anyway, I'm starting to work on the next building now, with the architect and stuff. So, back to that education part, education is such a part of it, but education's more than like other agencies here. They pass out flyers, they do things. We've started a program now, and we just were over at one of the Guadalupe schools for kids. And my wife and I, she taught school for years, and we did a whole presentation on just the basic walking on a leash, food, medical, some of these are little kids. And we work with the Beta Club a lot. And they actually come to our booths and stuff we do over here at Mrs. Ayers.
Sure.
And by the way, I just heard that they're naming the auditorium for her over there.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, at the high school, and she deserves it.
Yeah, absolutely, they should honor her. She's been a staple for our community for.
I did not read that. Kaylin just read it someplace, and so I don't think there's another Mrs. Ayers over there. I don't know.
She's the only one.
Is it Linda?
I do not.
Yeah, see, that's why it's okay. I said, I've always called her Mrs.
There's only about this.
I call her Mrs. Ayers. And Mrs. Ayers, if you're listening, you're wonderful.
Yes.
You deserve everything you get. And, but anyway, so we really do, that's education. And the other day, about, 2 weeks ago, actually, when I got this done, when I was spinning it out, we had a little parvo dog, and it came out of one of these trailer parks. And they called me, it was about a year old, which is, it wasn't shots or anything. So they called us, and they loved the dog, they found it, they didn't, they'd had it 2 or 3 months, so. You need me for anything? No. All right, thank you. And, so we went over there, and they wanted to retain it over, but they had no money or anything, so I said, all right, I'll bring it back, but we're gonna have a talk before I do. So we took the dog, we went and got it the shot, the parvo shot, and then we have a Dr. Begg at Harmony gives me these tubes of fluid, and every 8 hours we give them intravenous through the neck, which is legal for us to do that. And so the little dog made it. I kept it out here for a week, and it made it. And I literally wrote a legally binding letter, and I had them sign it. And it gives them the whole details of every shot that they need, how often they're going to need it, heart prevention every month, the cost, and it said that SNIP Collier has the right to come and visit that dog anytime we want. And if we don't find the standards of what is necessary, we can take it, and I will go to whatever authority is necessary to get it. And I just went there 2 days ago. Dog's inside, it comes out, jumping up and down on us.
Nice.
It's healthy. I've told them whatever, they're feeding it dog food, not table scraps now, and the dog's very healthy. So that's education part. And so that's what SNP's doing. It's not just passing out flyers and, education is, and then on top of education though, here comes the other thing, is we have to have things in line, in place, to where if you don't educate them, we have an alternate resource, and that's code enforcement. And it goes to the next longer discussion probably on building and all the constructions and the houses. Because, when I moved out to Orange Street didn't exist. When I was doing marine construction in Port Royal, we were getting our stones out of there, so that tells you how long. And now, you maybe can get more detail, but between on the Mockley Road, that's 1,600 homes, I think, at that one site by Sanctuary, something like that. And you look at Ave Marie they're building, all this stuff on Oil Well. At one of the meetings the other day, I forget how many homes, either low income or regular, out here. So let's just use over the next 10 years, 50,000 homes or whatever, I don't know.
That's a lot.
It is a lot, but there's that 1,500.
Just for your brain, over Ave Maria is the fastest growing subdivision in the state, and they run about 500 homes a year. So 10 years.
But there's
5,000, and then there are other subdivisions, and then you got to remember Golden Gate Estates. So you're a minute high on your estimate.
Well, it could be, but I'm just saying.
But you say that loud, and those people think it's true.
Well, but there's 1,600 home sites going in right on the Mockley Road.
Yeah, I understand.
And I don't know how many's in this new development they're putting on Oil Well. And then I know
3,000. But and this is the thing, and if I may, just to,
sure,
because you make a blanket statement
okay.
of 50,000 homes, and that's a minute high. There are new homes coming. There is new development coming, but just because the Board of County Commissioners approves you for Bright Shores, you mentioned it. That's 1,800 rooftops. It will take them. It will take them 10 years to get to that.
No, I get it, but I'm saying 10 years ago, I watched the growth.
Right.
And here's my point. So I apologize, maybe it's not 50, but I think everybody that's listening will say, it's a lot of growth going on between there and here. So my point is this, I go to these safety meetings all the time. In Mockley, there's the sheriff, code, everybody. And it seems like the common denominator when they talk about, why can't we improve this or this, we don't have enough people. And I'll just go to the on the animal park.
Right.
I just talked to them the other day, and I think they said, oh, we have 8, and 3 are in training, and blah, blah, and they need to do complete coverage. Well, I know this, when I first started doing this, we had 10 officers for the county, and that's 20, 25 years ago. And it was pretty steady. We don't have that even closely now, and have never had it since it went to code. And so I don't see how you're gonna continue to enforce this stuff unless they get double the amount of officers and have them where they can do their job. And then we can debate that next time or some other time.
There's no debate. I'll find out how many code enforcement officers we have. I know we're in the budget cycle. I know they're already talking to me about adding more FTEs, full-time employees, to code in order to supplement, because when we reorganized DAS, we pulled the enforcement arm out of,
Right.
it's something you and I had talked about.
No, I'm not against it.
No, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And move them over to code, which is the enforcement arm for DAS and code enforcement now. So let me just see if I can find out how many officers we do have. So we're talking about.
And there's also an issue is some of them are not actually officers. There's one that he cannot write any citations, and he's through it. I'm probably using the wrong terminology. It's an outside hiring firm or a temporary, I'm not sure, but he's not temporary, he's full time.
Right.
But he's under some other, and I don't know how many other ones are like that.
And we do sometimes go to, for lack of a better term, they're an employment bank where we take on people just to fill slots that are not necessarily an employee of the county, but we're paying their salary to a third party.
I'm not against, because I think what his job is to ride around and do the driving, picking up animals at whatever. And I'm okay with that, but he's not technically, he can't enforce anything.
Right. Now, you do know that there's been some adjustments to the legislation to allow us to increase the penalties for the frequent flyers. Okay.
Yeah, but
We actually got that done last month when I was in Tallahassee. We put the bow on that legislation.
And I'm for it, but as we've discussed before, these are not, they are, somebody can show me separate, different, that when they get these fines, they're not put on the properties, they're put on their credit. Basically, the people are what do you call it? They lean the people, the credit. And the people that I deal with on a lot of these things, they're not really concerned about their credit. And I know that. And so the ones that, and I don't think, and I know this, that some of the officers tell people that we're gonna lien your property. And I don't think that that's kosher if that's not the case.
Well, there again, we have certain legal instruments that we have for enforcement. We do also, over and above liening the property, we can lien the property if they don't pay the fine. We also have wage garnishment, but
So you're telling me right now that you can lien the property,
I believe,
because according to them, it's illegal. That's what Tom or Tim has told me. They all, and I always go, show me the state statute. They've told me that.
It may not be legal if they're renting. That's the only way I would think that it would be. It could be put upon the landlord.
But I can't see that but it might be right. I don't know, but I can't get anybody to show me the state statute. And so my point is, if I'm renting a house and I build a shed, it doesn't go on me. It goes on the landlord. And I don't see where some of these, if you got a pen full of animals and it's bad conditions, that'd be the landlord. There's one I just turned in recently on Christian Terrace, and there was pictures of a dead dog in the cage. And you know what the answer was when I asked him? Why didn't it, we took it to civil cruelty, not state, because we couldn't prove who put it in the cage. Now, but here again, I mean, that's not, I don't expect you to know every single thing that goes on, but it's something that I want to know. Why? Because no one will tell me, and I'll tell you exactly, and one of the higher ups in the code a long time ago was insinuating that they were cleaning properties. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna pull up 2 or 3. I'm gonna take it to a title company because I used to sell real estate, and I'm gonna see if there's any liens on this property. Am I gonna find them from the county? And very timid, no. And that tells me everything. But that's, again, it's something that's a long-term problem.
And it's been a long-term problem.
Yes, it has.
And you know, we have made enormous strides, but
I agree.
And it's tricky though, Thomas, because you and I are private sector guys. I'm on the inside, you're still on the outside looking in, and it just takes an enormous amount of time. The strides that we've made have been monumental, I think is probably the word. The strides we have made is monumental, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet. When we were in Tallahassee last month, we were prohibited by state law to accelerate the fines on the frequent flyers. People were coming in and paying their $500 fine, and they go sell 2 more puppies and pay the fine. And so that now has been, those fines are going to really rack up, and you can't just go sell a couple of puppies. You're going to have to start abiding by the law.
I actually and I haven't got it yet, but I was curious because in the last 2 or 3 months, I've pulled out, well, we have, with this one, I think 5 litters out there now, and that's just litters that we have in foster.
Right.
And I'm just going to be curious to see how many hobby breeder permits now that we have that we have out there, and how the inspections have been. And it's, again, we have, I'll tell you what's really cool, and I'm excited about it. We just, myself and Susie Thomas, and gosh, I apologize, her friend that's going to be on this, it's called SNIP Court Advocacy Group. And we're starting it. So we were at the courthouse yesterday for about 3 hours. There's the people that in Arrowhead put a dog in a cage and just left it, and it died from exposure. And then the people down in Mark with the cats. And now we don't understand the system enough because now it's been 2 different hearing type things, and nobody shows up. They're just waiting for the court. Well, so we're going to start following these cases. If anybody out there that would maybe like to be on this group, we'd love to have you. And so we're going to these court cases. We're going to follow them because everybody looks at the news and sees it and goes, oh, that's great, man, they're tough. But nobody follows them to see what happens. And so we're going to start doing that. And we'll be, things that I turn in or SNIP Collier turns in, we'll have the ability to go to the
at the end of the day, all we're looking for is transparency. With transparency, you have accountability. It's as simple as that.
I agree.
And if there's someone else over and above the government watching, so much more transparency will provide for accountability over time. It doesn't happen like that. It is the government world. There are terms. When someone is cited for a violation, they have a period of correction, and then they have another period of correction. If they're trying to, but they haven't yet. And if they're showing up to the hearings, if they're not showing up to the hearings, they get hit pretty hard, pretty quick. But we do have capacities to accelerate on 2nd and 3rd violations to move those people through the system and not give them this. You get cited for a violation, you got 30 days to cure it, whatever that time frame is, and then on and on we go. So
I just took 6 puppies off a place on El Paso, and they have laid in the driveway was 3 dogs that all had puppies, and I don't think the officer's there now, but she never even gave them a breeder permit. She goes, they didn't have puppies. I said, well, would you like to see a picture of all 6 of them that I just got out of there? 6 or 8. and I took them to Cape Coral. That's where they went, they were pit puppies, which is what we need to really, that's the worst. So, but I will give the county credit. It has gotten better, the enforcement. They're trying, they just need more people and more say, this is, we're gonna write these citations and here's the method to collect them and enforce it. Because that has always been the problem, and
if I can interrupt you.
Absolutely.
You mentioned the growth earlier on. Our government adopted a poor opinion a long time ago about infrastructure for the community. They accelerated impact fees and did all kinds of things to theoretically thwart the growth. And then they even adopted a poorer opinion, in my opinion, of if we don't build it, they won't come. And that hasn't worked out well for us. The other, and I've heard my county attorney say it in a public meeting, we're not looking to really penalize these people, we want compliance. And so there's been a lack of enforcement, a lack of accountability that has fostered throughout our entire community to a point where it has gotten out of hand. So
I have got records that I keep, how I keep all my records, that.
See your records.
I got them, I got letters, I got emails that Jeff Klaskow, and who was the county manager before, for years and years.
Leo.
Yeah, Leo. And actually Leo came by one of our events the other day, I saw him, and we had a great conversation, and they all say just that. We are not about enforcement, we're about education, and we know we can get people compliant. I'm of course laughing at the whole thing because I know better, because they've never been out in the field in their life,
And
I know what it is.
And that is a poor opinion that was being fortified for a long time. And there wasn't a push on the compliance aspect or the enforcement aspect or the collection on the penalization aspect. There was this shroud or theory that people would just do the right thing, and they're not.
If people are gonna do the right thing, we wouldn't need any policemen on the road,
Amen.
because they don't be going the speed limit.
Wouldn't need steps.
Well, we would love to work ourselves out of a job, but I don't see it happening, and we'll get it done here, but with that dog, when I talked to the DA yesterday, and they go, well, we can't take it because we're full all the time. Doesn't that, and I had a meeting with HS and then a while back, and like, you guys, what do you want us to do? I want you to go to the commission and tell them that you're having a hard time because there's so many animals. How do you expect us to do this? We've given them now $6 million a year, I think, is their budget.
Yes,
and $6 million, and they don't even do enforcement anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and that just, they're
building the buildings, I understand.
That offset just with moving the enforcement out of DAS over to code, that just happened within the last 12 months. So,
but my point is, it's not the money. You put as much money into it if it gets results. But my point is, it doesn't take my common sense says, if both of those things are so full, of course, one of them I think takes animals from other countries and
we're actually, and just so you know, and I'm not cutting you off again,
no,
but I am, is literally Monday, right before my board meeting, I had discussion with my senior staff, because the county owns 10 acres there at the corner of Wilson.
Yeah, the 150 acres are doing, you're gonna put it's 150 acres, isn't it?
10.
Oh, I'm talking about the new place down by Picayune. There's 150, it's an environmental area they're setting
It's not
aside.
down by the Picayune, that's over by the landfill.
Oh, Everglades.
This is on Wilson and Gold Gate Boulevard. We own 10 acres right next to the Tractor Supply that's built there. Okay. And that was a location that's cited for a secondary inland shelter area specifically built to house animals for people that are, when we issue an evacuation ordinance, so they can, so folks can bring their animals there. And it will also have a capacity, so I'm told, they jumped all over it. And I'm told that it will have large animal capacity there as well for horses.
Well, that's interesting because I got it right in my other office, I can get it. There's a place off of Everglades Boulevard, down about halfway down or a little more. And it's 150 acres that the county has bought in 5-acre pieces and 10. And there's an environmental study I got in there, and I got it from the environmental groups, and they asked me if there's an animal rescue thing on it. And so I looked it up.
It's not an animal rescue.
It's gonna be for cows and horses.
That's the Gore property you're talking about. We had a TPMA established over that area, Target Protection Management Area. And it's environmentally sensitive because it's very low. And then we recently bought the old Gore estate, 10 acres in the middle.
It's got a barn, kind of.
Yeah.
The whole thing's 150 acres.
Well, we probably own close to 150 acres.
No, that's what it is. I got the whole plan in there.
Yeah, but there's no direct plans for any kind of a facility there, just for your brain.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, it is written in there. It is written on the plan for it. It's not like a dedicated plan, but it's called for 2.5 acres for an animal rescue.
They're all,
And
somebody wrote it in, they wrote it in, but it's not slated for that. It's being purchased with conservation Collier money and held for conservation purposes.
well, that's what the environmental people called me about. Should it have a rescue? And I looked at it as horses and cows, and I don't have a problem with that.
I know you don't, but the environment, there is a BMP that's out there for managing both cattle and horses.
Yeah, that's what I read it. That's what because I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy, and I just read it the other day. But anyway, so no, I'm all for that stuff. But again,
So tell me a little bit about SNPs. How many spay and neuters do you do average a month?
well, a year we average anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 down in Naples, and feral cats on our mobile unit.
Okay.
I think it was 18,000 since 2015 or something like that.
Okay.
And something that I reckon.
And how's your fee structure in comparison to other facilities?
Well, first of all, we spend about $95,000 a year on helping paws, which does feral cats. It does people that can't afford it. We do a lot of that. We put them on payment programs. And those are.
So did you not answer my question?
Probably not. But I have.
It's about 300 per month
Thank
is
you.
what I think it averages around at that
Well,
number.
if you did your math, 300 times 12 would be about right. I assume everybody in the audience can do that.
Calculator.
Yeah.
So you know.
I assume everybody in the audience that listens are very educated. People listen to us. And so I figured that they could divide the number by 12. But, yeah.
Well, I asked you a month and you gave me an annual and then I had to do the math.
Well, I have a lot in my brain to keep track of, so I go by the stats they give me. But anyway, so that's what SNIP does. When we open this, we also do emergency surgeries down there. We do a lot of that. And they get from other vets that, it's 5,000. We can do it for a lot less, but this is what most of this stuff is gonna come out here. And
We're really excited about having this coming here. I mean, I'm getting accolades that the organization really does well for our community. The people enjoy working with the organization. So
we're seriously embedded in this community.
no doubt.
And I was just out at the looking for a little dog. Somebody sent me a picture of this dog in a ditch over by the airport park last night. So I came out here at like 6 o'clock this morning, and they took a picture of it and nobody got it. And so I went over there and started looking for it myself. I had a trap with me, and started going to all the businesses. And I went over to the park, and there was this young couple there, and I stopped and I didn't give them my card yet, and I started telling them I was looking for this dog, and they said, "Are you Tom?" And I said, "Yeah." and he goes, oh, our sister lives in, or Oak Haven, and she calls you whenever there's herd animals or this and that. So, yeah, we're, one time I'm at a gas station and these people that lived in the Wells Street, and all of a sudden they came up, are you the dog man? And, yeah, and so they actually gave us their dog, it was named Foxy. It was pregnant. We took it, my sister, kept it until it had puppies, and we got all the puppies adopted. We fixed her, and we took her back to them. And every time I go there, she's sitting out on the steps in the sun, happy. So another education.
Nice.
Well, Bill,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on today. I mean it. And
It's my honor.
I think we had a good discussion, and we didn't punch each other, so I guess it was a success.
Shane and Sam were good. Okay.
Oh, wait a minute, I got a black eye. I'll tell everybody you did
You
it.
was talking when you should have been.
I tell everybody that's what happened. A dog scratched me the other day, and that was it. But anyway,
Mama, let you
seriously,
go.
thank you for coming on.
It's my honor.
And
Thank you for
hopefully
doing
you'll
what
come
you're
on
doing.
again.
Please let us know how we can help as we're going along. Because, and again, and I tell this to people on a regular basis, I mean, the government, I shared with you earlier, I'm the same age as you, you've just got 10 years experience. The government can't be everywhere all of the time. There's 400,000 people that live in Collier County. That's 800,000 eyes that are looking in places. You go to your home, to your work, to your grocery store, to your recreational facility in your way. I don't travel that way. You travel your way, I travel mine. And so if folks can communicate, and 311 is something that Collier County has, it's easy.
I do.
I know you do, I'm talking to those people. 311 is a very nice way to report anything that you perceive as a government issue, whether it be a stray dog or a cat or a pothole, for that example. I mean, I live over in the sanctuary, and I was coming home one night, and one of the new sprinkler heads that we had put on the newly landscaped area there on Immokalee Road, that thing was shooting 10 feet in the air at 10 o'clock at night. And I just said, let's try 311 to see if it works. 2 clicks, hit the button, had a body on the phone and reported that broken sprinkler head sitting out there. So that's just something. Communication's 9/10 of the law. The government isn't going to fix everything, but with cooperation, with education, we're going to be able to rein things in.
Throw enforcement in there and we will make a difference.
That was part of the education.
Yeah. Bill, again, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for doing what you do.